Good morning. How are we, Ron?
Good morning, Cam, from sunny LA, drinking my Noah's Bagels coffee. Oh, I love Stumptown.
We're back with another edition of Dear Ron. So let's dive into the next question. Every time a new state law comes out, I find myself struggling to keep track of exactly what I need to be doing to make sure my program continues to remain compliant. Overall, I feel like our program is pretty mature, but it's also super reactive. What can I be doing to better anticipate the nuances of all these state laws around privacy and even around health data, children's data, and AI? Wow.
Yeah, that is a good one. Firstly, it's the fact that we exist as chief privacy officers and privacy professionals is that we are tasked with addressing the constant influx of emerging privacy requirements. If that wasn't happening day to day, we'd be twiddling our thumbs most of the day, right? And it makes our job exciting. Obviously we have 19 state laws at play with many more to come, each with their own set of, as you had mentioned, kind of nuanced requirements. In the industry, sometimes we term those outliers. So meaning we pretty much have a good baseline of requirements based on established legislation like the GDPR and the CCPA. So, your basic individual rights, your basic rights to consent, notice, security, all these good baseline things, but then each state will have a different twist on maybe something that's specific to the time that you have to respond to a DSAR, for example, or what they might consider sensitive personal information, right?
Right.
So yes, I agree. We almost can't help but react to these state laws because, it is up to each state's legislature to define what privacy means to that particular state. I find it is a struggle, and I think a lot of chief privacy officers and privacy pros tend to do a lot of manual work to, track of all these emerging requirements. And, we might use outside counsel, we might use, third-party support. We're doing a lot of research on our own. Like, how do you keep track of that day to day? What's becoming table stakes for us, Cam, is the use of like a platform. And I know we both work at Transcend, but I would say that if you want to get into a more proactive state, it's the use of templates that might account for existing baseline requirements that you can build more functionality to address the outliers, right?
Right.
So I think platforms table stakes to automation, to being a little bit more proactive. I also think that it's our job to know and research and be in the know of all these emerging state requirements, global requirements, new requirements per like sector, AI requirements, again, children's privacy, biometrics. This is our role. This is why we exist. So while it is challenging, there are ways to help automate that. But yeah, it's a continuous struggle.
Just thinking about health data and children's data and AI thrown in there now. I mean, health data has to be one of the most complicated and when it comes to privacy, right? Because it's just there's so many different like issues that can go on that are kind of underneath, and there's just stuff that needs to still be figured out. But would you say that's probably the toughest like privacy area for a CPO?
I would say it's one of the most challenging ones with Washington's new My Health, My Data Act and with the new New York health specific data privacy law. What we're first doing is doing an initial assessment on, are we under the scope of that law? Right. And we do have to do that initial assessment because, a lot of these laws are actually expanding their remit, right? So it's not just HIPAA only applied to specific institutions like hospitals, healthcare providers, but these new state laws are actually applying more broadly. So we're doing a lot more initial assessment.
What a good question. I mean, that makes you really think. That's a lot in there. I mean,
it's tough.
Sure, that's very tough, but very good question. And we'll sip to that and good stuff.